Think about the last time someone helped you. Maybe they drove you somewhere, picked up a bill, showed up when things were hard. And in that moment, it felt like care. It felt like kindness. But then it didn't stop there. Because weeks later, maybe months later, that thing came back up. Not as a memory, as a reminder. After everything I've done for you, I was there for you when nobody else was. And suddenly what felt like a gift started feeling like a debt.
Here is what most people never understand about this. It has almost nothing to do with you. Not with your gratitude, not with how much you appreciate them. The person saying these words is not tracking whether you're thankful. They are doing something else entirely, something their own brain is barely aware of. Psychologists call this conditional giving. But what it really is a fear response that learned to disguise itself as generosity. These people did not help you just to be kind. Or rather, they believed they were being kind, but underneath that act, something else was happening. They gave you something, and the moment they did, their brain logged it, not as a gift, as a contract. And here is why that happens. Most people who do this did not grow up experiencing love as something unconditional. They grew up in environments where care was earned, where attention required performance, where you had to comply, to produce, to be useful before you were loved. So their brain learned something early, and it learned it deeply. Help is not free. Nothing is free. Every act of kindness carries a price, and the price is that you don't leave. Think about this for a second. When they helped you, they were not just helping you. They were building something, a record, a reason for you to stay. Not because they are bad people, but because their nervous system was wired to confuse love with transaction. When they remind you of what they've done, what they're really saying underneath it is something much more fragile than it sounds. I'm afraid that without this debt, I don't matter to you. I'm afraid that if I stop keeping score, you'll walk away. I'm afraid that I am not worth choosing freely. The person who constantly reminds you of their sacrifices is not a generous person who feels unappreciated. They're a scared person who never learned that they could be loved without earning it first. That is the difference, and it matters. And what happens to you on the receiving end? You start to feel something that is very hard to name. It is not exactly guilt. It is not exactly anger. It is a weight, a slow, creeping feeling that no matter what you give back, it will not be enough, that the debt keeps growing, that you owe something you can never fully repay. Psychologists call this emotional coercion. Not because the person always intends to manipulate, some do, some don't, but because the effect is the same. Your sense of free choice inside that relationship quietly disappears. You stop acting out of love. You start acting out of obligation. And that is not a relationship. That is a contract you never agreed to sign. Here is what I want you to sit with. When someone consistently turns their help into a reminder of what they've done, they are showing you their internal world. They are showing you that deep inside themselves, they do not believe they are worth choosing freely, so they have to ensure you stay. They have to create an account of your debts because they genuinely cannot trust that you would choose them otherwise. That is not a person who feels powerful. That is a person who feels profoundly unsafe. And once you understand that, something changes in how you experience it. It does not stop being exhausting, but it stops being about you. Understanding why someone does something is not the same as accepting it without limit. You can acknowledge their help without taking on the guilt they're attaching to it. You can say, I do appreciate what you did, and I also notice this keeps coming up. Name it, not with anger, with clarity, because clarity, not guilt, is what actually changes a dynamic like this. The most honest thing about this pattern is this. The person reminding you of their sacrifices is not trying to make you feel small. They already feel small, and they are reaching for the only tool they know, the record of what they've done, to feel like they matter. That's not selfishness, that's survival, the only way they ever learned how to do it. Subscribe to Mind Exposed because we decode the patterns that most people carry in silence, and we give them a name.